Hello, and welcome to the world of Pokemon. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have some brand new information coming out regarding Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I know these games are now only one day, that's less than 24 hours away from being in mine and many of your hands. However, there is still information coming out regarding these games. As of the last day or so, there have been a couple of commercial spots, including one from the official Nintendo channel, showing off much of the same information that we've seen before, however continuing to build that excitement and hype for the release of the games. However, there was a brand new trailer that came out a couple of days ago, showing off information that we have not seen before. To begin with, we actually got to see some fantastic scenes of the gym leaders, including some back shots of a few new gym leaders that we haven't officially been introduced to as of yet. It was also very exciting to see some brand new locations, such as the Rune-like area, a beautiful shot of Glimwood Tangle, and at the very end, a mysterious looking area that most likely connects with Zacian and Zamazenta. Also, for a brief second, they flashed a very ominous image of what appears to be a couple of gentlemen facing off against some force of evil with an ultimate sword and shield in hand. And they also utilized this trailer to give a brief hint at two brand new Pokemon. Now, obviously, the new Pokemon have already leaked out at this point, and a lot of people have seen them by now. However, to avoid spoiling anything unofficial for any of those people who don't want to know, I won't delve into any of the details about who these two Pokemon are, outside of the fact that one is very obviously related to Mr. Mime in some way, and the other is a ghost-like Pokemon that takes over runestones. Though, if you're interested in learning who these Pokemon are ahead of release, I'm very sure the information is out there if you seek it. And wrapping up today's video, I actually wanted to go over all of the massive controversy surrounding Game Freak, Pokemon, and the games Sword and Shield in general. For those of you who don't follow the happenings of the Pokemon community very closely, you may find it a bit surprising to hear that it has been absolutely rocked by turmoil. Essentially, ever since these games were truly shown off, but as of late, things have really been coming to a head. The biggest concern that a lot of people seem to be focused on is surrounding the exclusion of around 300 plus Pokemon from these titles. To which, Game Freak had explained that their decision was ultimately to better balance competitive battling, mostly, but also to better balance battling on a whole. They also went on in various interviews to elaborate that along with higher quality models and animations throughout the various features of the games, it would have been very difficult to give each and every Pokemon the care that it deserves. And although it was ultimately a very tough decision for them to make, they understood that it was the right decision to make to exclude the Pokemon from this game in order to provide a better all-around experience. And although I'm not gonna lie, at first I was very disappointed to hear this news. I really wanted a Pokemon experience in Galar where I could bring every single one of the Pokemon that I have collected from all the past previous iterations of the franchise into the game and enjoy them in the beautiful new graphics of the Sword and Shield games. In fact, as soon as I heard this news, I immediately started looking through all my Pokemon and imagining which ones I was not going to be able to take with me. Though, the more I sat and thought about it, the more I started to really understand it from Game Freak's position. I mean, we are now approaching almost 1,000 Pokemon in total, and every single Pokemon has different abilities, movesets, natures, egg moves, and even held items that it is best compatible with. Not only would this be an absolute nightmare for developers to have to program into every single game moving forward in the franchise, but this also would provide an extremely complicated game for any new or younger players entering into the franchise to enjoy. I mean, in all honesty, I have been playing Pokemon now for 20 years, ever since the first games were launched, and yet I still have yet to get into competitive battling. With that being said, however, I am actually extremely excited for the competitive battling in Sword and Shield. And a lot of that is due to the fact that they have went out of their way to assure that these games are accessible for players of all types to enjoy. And my absolute final thoughts on all of this controversy And I mean final thoughts, as in I don't really want to talk about it after this anymore, as I'm just simply too excited for the games to be bogged down by all of this negativity. But either way, I guess if there is a phrase that we can hold on to in moments like this, it is truly to each their own. If there are areas about these games that you just cannot stand, you have absolutely no idea why Game Freak could have possibly ever thought it was a good idea to put or not to put it into these games, then just don't buy them. Continue to play the other games that you've known and love of the franchise, or quit Pokemon altogether. Whatever you want to do, just do it. There is absolutely no need at all to go out of your way to try and assure that everybody else has a poor experience of these games also. Those of us in the Pokemon community that genuinely have a lot of positivity regarding the launch of these games should be able to freely express that positivity without constantly being under attack. We should be able to post videos about the areas that we are most excited about in these games without being disliked just for sharing a positive opinion about them. And I think probably most importantly of all to keep in mind when it comes down to all of this is that the producers, developers, directors, and all the staff at Game Freak that put their hard work and determination into making these games are still people too. They wake up every single day and go to work and work their hardest to do their job. They come home every single night to their families and friends. And personally, I just don't understand how they deserve so much needless and baseless hate, especially over things that just genuinely aren't true. Either way, like I said, I am moving on from all of the negativity around these games and Game Freak and Pokemon on a whole. Thank you, Game Freak, once again for providing yet another Pokemon experience for all of us to love and enjoy. Let me know in the comment section down below whether you are picking up these games in just one day. I know my family will be waiting on the edges of our seats for the pre-order packages to arrive in the mail. I will be recording every single moment of our initial unboxing and reaction to the games, so make sure you stay tuned on Saturday for that video to be uploaded. Also on Saturday, we will be testing out our first ever YouTube live stream of the games, so make sure you stay tuned for more details to come. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this has been Professor Noki signing out once again for Noki Talks.